Okay, we are really doing this. We're very close to officially start the hackathon, and I'm really pleased and excited to present the keynote speaker that is joining me on the stage. I would love to invite Maciej Cielecki from 10 Clouds, who's been
Hello.
supporting Tech to the Rescue from the very beginning, but is also one of the thought leaders and experts in AI. I would love to give the stage to Maciej. Hi, Maciej.
Very much. Thank you very much. Hello, Daniel. Thank you
Wonderful.
for having me.
Yes, we are very, very glad that you're with us. And I will just get to the background and leave you. The whole time is yours. All the lights are on you. Enjoy. And everyone, this is the first keynote speech. Enjoy.
Let me share my screen then. Is it visible?
It's getting
Okay.
visible. I will
It's getting
also
visible.
I will also let know our participants that there will be a chance to ask questions to Maciej. We might be able to ask them at the end, or it will be possible to ask questions in the Discord. So don't get discouraged, wait for the right moment, and now listen to Maciej. Thank you.
And feel free to go to Discord and ask them there. And after the presentation, I will go there and see if I can answer them. Probably that will be most practical. So today's presentation will be about embracing the fear, solving people's problem with the most frightening technology of all time. And the topics I will be covering are those are three: the current narrative around AI. Are we going to live? That's the second topic. And three is like tips and tricks of how to navigate this and actually make this into our advantage instead of something to fear. So the first thing is that there is a lot of news around AI and a lot of actually technological progress that is happening. There's probably 1,000 tools already out. Like every week seems to be coming with new stuff. Even yesterday, OpenAI announced changes to their API, which, for example, significantly impact my work. So it can be very daunting and overwhelming, especially with this narrative that this is going to just kill us eventually. And we have been raised on various sci-fi movies and predictions of how AI will behave, that it will be just this gigantic Skynet that will rebel and start to kill off humanity. Recently, there's a lot of fears that there will be no jobs left for humans, and there will be rampant media manipulation. And eventually, like when it reaches the AGI stage, there will be no resources for us because AI will just choose not to give any resources to human beings, which seem to be like not useful for it, eventually leading to just killing us off. But what I want to state is that I don't believe that narrative. And I think that it is actually the reason why we are hearing it is that because it's newsworthy. And it's something that is plaguing us, not even in the AI space, but in probably all of the spaces where like the fear, uncertainty, and doubt is what is catchy and what is worth spreading about, and it's easy to digest. And I have a different opinion around that, how this future will look like. But first, few words who I am and where those things come from. So I'm a developer at heart. I dropped out of my PhD around 13 years ago, and I started running 10 Clouds, which is a software agency that specializes in helping clients build digital products. I built it as a CEO to a team around 200. Around 1.5 years ago, I took a deep dive into like hands-on GPT usage, and there's one aspect that is very interesting, is that what I call an Asperger advantage, because I have Asperger syndrome, which sometimes is not very useful, but then in this situation it is, because all of this space is very uncertain. This new AI wave, it's very hard to grasp where actually it will lead, what it's actually capable of. But then if you spend around 80 hours a week playing around with it, then you have a distinct understanding that is very hard to get even with knowledge, like previous knowledge around AI, because I think like most of the previous knowledge and intuition about AI that is built on the previous waves of it is irrelevant in this stage. And my goal is to start to live in the and understand the future that most of the humanity will experience in a few years. And jokingly, I call myself an AI loyalist because like I really am on the front of that. That AI will be good for us. And this, what I'm going to say, is not newsworthy, but it's different. And a few topics that I think that people are not necessarily, that are not surfacing. One is superior empathy. And what do I mean by that? Like based on, and I think like many of you probably already know this, that GPT is really good at deducing human emotions from text. And I encourage you actually to, in order to understand what I mean, maybe after the presentation, to have a go at the following experiment. Take a conversation with you, a textual conversation with your spouse, your significant other, especially like the one where you felt you were right and the other side was wrong. Paste it into ChatGPT and ask what the other side was feeling. The answer you will get is, as an AI language model, I cannot deduce what the other person is feeling based on text, but, and then the part that goes after the but is the interesting aspect. And I encourage you to do that experiment and see what it will answer, because some of those things are not necessarily the things you were feeling and you were understanding about the state of the other person you were talking to during that conversation. And if you would understand that and have that information there, you would probably act differently. The other thing that you might ask is actually, what would be the appropriate answer? And it probably wasn't what you were going to answer there. So it gives that immediate, it has this immediate, super fast empathy that is available for us, which is completely different to what science fiction told us. Because, for example, in Star Trek, there was this android called Data, which his entire existence was about like learning, like understanding those bizarre human emotions. And in here, it seems like within, especially like if this is going to progress, that this is going to learn, like to understand emotions far better than we do. The other thing that kind of comes from that is individuality and making things very, very adjustable per human being, because it won't be one Skynet that will just rule something. There will be probably 8 billion or even more AIs running, and each of them serving a specific purpose. And one of those things can be that it can be customized solely about you as a person. For example, I built a prototype that where I input a lot of information about myself, my relationships, my calendar, my to-do list, and I ask it like, okay, be my coach, what I should be doing right now, what should be my priorities for today. And those answers feel like they are super personal and super like they are in my favor. They really are about myself, and they can be about anyone individually. That's the key thing that we'll get from this revolution. And there is an aspect here that is also interesting. The fact that that you can also adjust it to a very different kind of individuals. For example, me, myself, I'm much more logical, and I prefer to be talking logic. But for example, there are other people who are not like that, who prefer talking with more emotions or any other different preference. And they will get the experience and understanding and will be able to communicate in a way that they feel that it's right for them. So, and also, like there is this concept of like the technology makes us less, like more lonely. But I think like this technology will actually do the opposite, because even if AIs will be like, for example, one AI will be posting things on LinkedIn, the other one will be replying to comments, and then like even the third one will reply to those comments, and this will happen digitally. But then like those assistants will be able to optimize, for example, for us to have time to have in-person relationships, and even help us with them through like empowering our empathy levels. The other thing that is very interesting here is that it may actually help, and this is going to sound bizarre from today's point of view, like how is that going to happen? Like how weird is that concept? Is that, because I even built recently a very simple prototype, it's like a half a day of work, that allowed my son to talk to GPT through my native language, Polish, and get response in Polish through voice. And he really asked questions about Minecraft, about various things that interest him. And what is interesting about that is that you can customize this and really build it in a way where it really like helps you convey values and teach the child what you really want to convey. For example, you can say that when and you can specify it like using existing technologies, that you want, for example, if a question is raised about Minecraft, then add some information about, for example, how human relationships are important, or try to put it in the context of the real world. Or if you're more into, for example, earning money, then it could be teach the child about how money works and the concept of Minecraft. So you can really customize it. And I can see that in the future, I can totally see it, that there will be like child custody battles where the court decides whose AI the child can have access to, whenever it's fathers or mothers, or who gets to decide what is being taught there. And some aspects of parenthood will actually go there. And because of the previous aspects I said, it won't be as damaging as the current technologies and access to current technologies. So also, like, so to wrap this up, so those are the things that I feel like that they have a huge potential for actually building a better future for us. And even if there will be even if it will be taking some of our jobs, I think that in terms of quality of life, there might be a significant improvement. And few tips and tricks, and to wrap it up, few tips and tricks I learned from 2,162 hours of talking to AI 2.0, and that's a rough estimate. So what do I mean by AI 1.0 versus 2.0? So all of this new wave has a distinct difference between what happened before and what happened now. One thing is that this game was about having a lot of data, training your own models for specific usage, and then using it for specific usage. It's completely different with models on the level of GTP4, and this is going to just get better. With GTP4, you can instruct the model to do something, and then it will just do that. And it doesn't require any information other than the instructions. So there's very little data that you need in order for it to perform a specific task that you require. And it's a completely different paradigm of building systems. The other thing is, which I would really encourage you to explore, that those large language models are not just chat. I know ChatGPT is like the most significant product that was built around this, but it's like, it pains me greatly to see how most of the products that are being built are like mimicking that interface. And to give you an example, something that actually we just released yesterday, actually, is like a tool for programmers. You can let me just pause it for a second. You can download it now and even use it during the hackathon if you like, if you like experimentation. It's a Visual Studio Code plugin, and what it does, it has a slightly different interface because most of the interaction happen not through the chat but through the editor. Because you select the code, and to give you an example of the interaction, you select the code. It gives you a recommendation of what to do with it, and then you just press go, and then like one of the minions gets spawned, and it just tries to do that job. And you can spawn multiple ones, and then after it finishes, you can just review it through a diff, and it just applies the differences directly to the code. So there is no chat. Even like the user didn't really input any kind of text here besides accepting the suggestion of what can be done with that code. And then here is an example of, which is also a slightly different paradigm than usual chat, is that the user is like figuring out a lot of different small tasks that they want to do on different parts of the code and just launching different kind of minions on their own. So they can have like multiple things working for him at the same time. And it's also a different UI paradigm than the usual chat. And it's like it's a kind of my shameless plugin because I've been heavily involved in developing that. If you like it, you can just download it even now. The other thing, so the last thing that I wanted to say, because like I'm running out of time, is building a proof of concept in 2 days that has not been enabled by any other technology. It's so easy to start with this, and you don't even have to be a programmer in order to do that. Oh, sorry about that. You don't have to be a programmer in order to do that. You can even like use Google Spreadsheets with a plugin to build a proof of concept and chain those GTP commands, do all of those little tricks there, and build even small solutions in systems like that. It's of course difficult to build a fully scalable system, but then you can have meaningful things really fast, which is remarkable. And this is something that I think this hackathon is like, I think you can do wonders in a span of 2 days. And to wrap up, are we all going to die? So what's the answer to that question? I have no idea, but I think that there is a potential for a much better future. Thank you for listening, and see you at the hackathon. And feel free to contact me by any means, either through Discord or if I can help.
All right, thank you very much, Maciek. Very inspiring, and I gotta say, I felt goosebumps on my back listening to it. I have some questions. I see that we received some of them. I wanted to ask you if I may. So I would love to know what role AI. It's a little bit personal, but maybe you will be willing to answer it.
Sure.
What role AI plays in raising your own child? Like, how do you see it?
So unfortunately, this is fairly recent that I implemented that. It's mostly right now fun, but there is this like really weird idea that popped into my mind immediately, like, oh, maybe it can read bedtime stories.
Yeah. Aren't you afraid that it's gonna replace you at some point?
No, actually, I don't think so. It is more of an agent. I see AI as an agent of my will. And I think like it's the useful way to look at it. It's a tool, and it's interesting. Frankly, I wouldn't be able to write a story that is a mashup of Pokemon and Minecraft and Mario. It's not replacing me. It's just better. It's just better than me in this.
Yeah, it's basically a power that extends your possibilities. I suppose that's how you describe it. I feel I have one more, Maciej.
And it's like, I think at this stage, like before those tools are more advanced, I think that we are fairly safe and it's not going to replace parents, but it can augment us as parents really, really nicely.
Can you imagine? This is about the future. I would love to hear the comment of you, and probably this is going to be the last one. Can you imagine transferring all your knowledge and your consciousness to AI and building your own self that would stay with your kids long after you and your wife are gone?
Whoa, this is this is a good one. I thought that it's a kind of a bizarre thing because like, is it still me? No. But then like this kind of, it feels like, so I don't see it as a way of like extending my life, but then it can serve a different purpose. It can be your heritage, the thing that you leave to posterity, and even like a monument of yourself. So it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, the legacy of you and
Legacy. That was the word I was looking for, actually.
yeah, I hope this hackathon is going to leave some legacy and projects that are going to serve humanity and will be of use for many that came here and would love to build something for good. I really appreciate your perspective, Maciej. Thank you very much for all that you do, all your efforts supporting initiatives for good.
Much.
Yes,
you
and
do
we would
much more for good than I do.
Well, we will be happy to have you anytime again in the future. Thank you again. And Maciej will be available in the Discord. So if there are some questions, you can always drop them there. We will also make sure to pass them to Maciej for sure. Thanks, Maciej. All right.